What's your, in your initial contact, what's your next desired result that you want to get out of this particular client or this person phoning in? Do you want to book an appointment, right? Do you want to turn around and find out if you're going to be going there to book the service call, right? Because service calls, you don't want to be going to do an estimate on a service call for 200 bucks. Just usually is not very profitable for the company. So you got to know that you're going to have a process for service calls if you're in the trades. You're going to have a process for this kind of a sale, a process for this kind of sale. And so pick one of your processes or write them down, but you have to have a desired next step. So that's what's on the top, next step. Got to have a desired next step. If it's getting an appointment, then you go for the appointment. If it's actually booking the service call, or whatever you're doing, wonderful. So know your process, know what it provides. Typical client questions, what is the question that you want to ask your client to try and find out where they belong and how they're going? Get those questions going. Process questions are different. Process questions would be asking them about a little bit more if they're really a good client. In other words, are there competitors coming in? What is your time frame for making a decision? Always an awesome one. So there's time frame, there's all those kinds of things. Because if you've got, whether it's a printing job, Austin, you guys are doing, and all of a sudden they need it done like yesterday, and there's a revelation there. If you've got a client that actually wants something done yesterday and doesn't want to pay for it, they're more than likely the ones that are complaining about the quality of the service. So after you've gone and got all your employees and you've done the stuff at night and you've worked till midnight to make it happen for them, they probably aren't going to appreciate it. Anybody know that one? Right? Yeah, exactly. So you got to know what their expectation is when it comes to their need, their urgency, and what they're expecting. Okay, so from your client perspective, education. How will you educate them on what your value difference is? Now this particular one you may want to leave blank because we have a worksheet, complete worksheet on your value proposition. It's an entire worksheet for this step. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. So that particular part we're going to leave. And we got some leadership questions. Leadership questions are open-ended questions, and they're kind of questions that actually lead them down the pathway so you can kind of find out what they're really looking for. So if you're finding somebody that is looking for a new furnace, you may ask a question like, what's most important to you? Energy savings or initial purchase price? Would be a great question, right? Because if somebody has a really tight budget, would want to know that first, but notice I didn't ask them how much money they have. Really a different story. I asked them about what they wanted to get out of the deal. Do you have that? So we're not talking about the emotions, but we are talking about their emotions a lot, right? So whatever industry you're in, you got to know what's the main driver. What's the most important part for you? What is it that you are looking for? If you've got somebody that's all about cheap, 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 anybody have one of those? Okay, you have an opportunity to try and get them some quality. Or you may test that to see how much it really is. If they really say, I don't care what the quality is, I only want this, bottom line, then you may not be the right person for them if you don't provide low-end quality services. If they want top-end quality, or middle-end quality, and they want it at a bargain basement price, then you've got what I call somebody that's looking to do the Indiana Jones thing. They're out there trying to find treasure. And for treasure hunters, they can find it somewhere else. I don't mind providing good value for good service, but treasure hunters can go somewhere else. They can take the risk. That's the way I kind of do my business. So my value proposition is not to be the cheapest. My value proposition is not to be the most expensive. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But what it does for you is it gives you a very clear identity about what that individual is really like when it comes to dealing with. If you don't know about that individual, you need to ask those questions.